What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live, as always, from the Man Cave. I say as out always, but as a lot of you watching this video will no doubt know, most of my videos for the past, I don't know, year have been on my way to record stores or right outside of record stores or on the way to record stores or trip videos or anything like that. Work schedule, 60 hours a week, has made it difficult to hang out in this man cave, to listen to records in this man cave, to talk to you guys from the man cave. I'm gonna try to do better about that, as a testament to how difficult it's been to do videos from this man cave. This video is always my favorite video that I do every year, and it's my top finds of the year video. Always my favorite video. This is my top finds of 2020 video. I'm doing it late March 2021. So that's giving you guys an idea of how difficult it's been for me to sit down and have adequate time to A, dig through and find my favorite finds, and B, actually sit down and talk to you guys about them. So I'm going to run through this as quick as I can. I decided, since it was last year's video, I basically just went and there were so many great finds that I found in 2019 that I just decided I couldn't attribute to a number. I couldn't limit it to a number. So I just grabbed a bunch. I ended up going through like 40 records, I think, if I'm not mistaken. For this time, I figured 2020, top 20. So, despite 2020 being an immortal shit show of a year, all things considered across the board for everybody, better for myself than for most. I'll be the first one to tell you. Not going to dig into that. We're going to talk about some records today. Despite all of that, I managed to have a really good year in terms of finding really, really, really great records. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Top 20 of 2020. For those of you who care, Terrapin Luau IPA. Because I haven't done these in so long, I feel I could get you guys back to some kind of normal, delicious beer. End up drinking it all the time because I can find it at QT, which is right across the road from where I work. Not going to lie. No reason to bullshit you guys. I'm a very busy man. So, let's get right into it. Without further ado, top 20 finds of 2020. This was so difficult to number them. I even changed my mind like 3 times. But let's start at number 20. Number 20, All Night Long. It's basically a Prestige All-Stars, if you will, type release. Donald Byrd on trumpet, Jerome Richardson on flute, Kenny Burrell on guitar, Hank Mobley on tenor, Mal Waldron on piano, Doug Watkins on bass, and Art Taylor on sticks. It's splat out West 50th Street, New York City address on the labels. So this is the real deal. This is the original pressing. You guys who have followed my channel long enough will no doubt remember me showing it or have somewhat idea of it. But I consider it most widely attributed to Kenny Burrell. That's the section I filed under. But basically, Prestige All-Stars release. I was very happy to find this early in 2020. Number 19, After Hours with Thad Jones, Kenny Burrell, Frank West, Mal Waldron, Paul Chambers, and Arthur Taylor. It's kind of a similar type deal. It's like another Prestige All-Stars type release. Once again, splat out, West 50th, New York City labels. Phenomenal stuff. Love the record, but I followed under the Thad Jones section in my collection. Number 18, I believe, is the Sonny Rollins Quintet with Kenny Dorham and Max Roach. It's on Prestige, so that's already 3 Prestige records you guys seen. It's Rollins plays for Byrd. Pretty sure this popped up in my 2019 video, but it was different. Maybe it did, but I've upgraded since, and now splat out West 50th New York City labels. So once upon a time, I had a record, and I had a cover of another record, and the record for this original cover was beat to shit, and I was like, okay, I gotta fix that. So then I found a record only that was in pretty damn good shape for a reasonable price, so I jumped on it, had to. So that's that one. That's 2019, 18. All right, 17 was my favorite record that I found on my favorite trip of 2020 with my boys Matt and Josh, as you guys may remember from my RSD #1 trip to Knoxville and to Asheville and to Maggie Valley, North Carolina with my boys Matt and Josh. Great weekend. Those were my favorite videos I did all year, honestly. My most viewed, not by far, and that's disappointing to me if I'm being completely honest with you, because man, that was such a phenomenal fucking weekend. That was the most fun that I had all year, if I'm being completely honest and sincere with you guys. But this was my favorite record that I found the entire time. It's Joe Henderson's Canyon Lady. It's on Milestone. It's a promotional copy. It's phenomenal. I found it at Wild Honey Records in Knoxville, Tennessee. Splat out. Went ahead and kept this with it as a little memento. Took that sticker in there from Wild Honey Records, guys. It's my favorite record store in Knoxville, Tennessee, or in the state of Tennessee for that matter. If you're anywhere near the area, if you're just passing through, if anything, it's worth a special trip. I'm just being honest with you. There's so many great stores in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Wild Honey is just one of many. As you guys, if you saw the video, if you watched the video, you saw the goods and the gems that myself, Josh, and Matthew came up with. We really pulled some heat that weekend. And this year, it's going to be like DJ Khaled. Another one. Stay tuned to that one. Next up in the list, if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Joe Henderson, once again, quintet at the Lighthouse. Milestone once again, splat out. I was very happy to find this one. I've been looking for this one for a long time. And 2020 just seemed like a really appropriate year to track this one down. Without getting into, getting political or getting, too outside of the world, of the realm of music and records, which is, not my expertise, but I'm more so qualified to talk on that. But I can give my opinion, and I think we can, all agree that 2020 was a royal shit show of a year that brought up a lot of issues that we have in our society and whatnot to the forefront. Racial inequality, police brutality, being too open. I'll leave it there. Wanted this one long before that. 2020 it just really seems like an appropriate year. I'll always remember 2020 as the year I found this one. Next up, Miles Davis, Volume 2 on Blue Note. This is an original mono pressing. You guys already know how Wagon Wheel, Splat, Horace Silver, J.J. Johnson, Percy Heath, Art Blakey. I do not believe that Miles Davis's best record was on Blue Note, obviously. Some people believe it was on Columbia. I believe it was on Prestige, because a lot of people point immediately to Kind of Blue. I point to his Prestige, his steam and his work and his cooking. Those are my joints. And then for Columbia Records, I go with around about Midnight. I do all of those before I do Kind of Blue. That's not to underscore the significance of Kind of Blue. I believe it's one of the most important monumental jazz albums, or albums in popular culture, period. I oftentimes catch flack because people think I'm shitting on Kind of Blue, and I'm not. All I want to do is bring to light that there are so many other great jazz albums that deserve your attention. It doesn't stop at Kind of Blue and Love Supreme. It doesn't stop there. Both artists made better albums than those two. Both. So, one of my favorite albums of the year, Super Clean Condition. Next up, Anthony Williams, Lifetime. I wanted this one for a long time. This is an original mono pressing. Real quick. Splat out. I had wanted this one for years. I had an opportunity in 2019, I think, either 2018 or 2019. I had a sealed copy of this one for a really good price, but at the time I just didn't have the money, and the person who was selling it was ready to sell it really needed the money. And so I was like, hey man, if you can give me a couple hours. And they were like, no, I'm putting it to you first, but the next guy I put it to is going to buy it. And then they put it to the next guy bought it. So it was like, it's one of those ones I really hate. I missed out on. Sam Rivers, Bobby Hutcherson, Herbie Hancock, Richard Davis, Gary Peacock, and Ron Carter. That's still with us, Ron Carter. That's still doing great things in the jazz scene, Ron Carter. You guys should definitely still follow along with Mr. Carter. As like I said, he's still doing wonderful things in the scene of jazz. Plenty of wonderful live performances and whatnot that you can stream throughout the COVID pandemic. I highly recommend it. Please, Facebook, Instagram, social media. Just look him up. I'm sure it's probably YouTube as well. Still alive, still kicking, still with us, and still playing as well as he ever did. Anthony Williams, Tony Williams, however you want to refer to him. Many people I know, his favorite jazz drummer of all time. I'd put him definitely in my top 3 or 4. I think was 18 or 19 when this album was recorded on Blue Note. Essential shit, in my opinion. I feel like a little parched up talking about those few albums. Next up, another one that I tried for so long to track down, finally did in 2020, is Horace Silver in the Jazz Messengers. An original mono pressing. Once again, splat out. This is Lexington Avenue, which is always a big deal for us Blue Note collectors. If you can get a Lexington Ave label, if you can get a Lexington Ave release, that's you're doing it big. But that's Horace Silver and the Jazz Messengers once again. I set it down. I don't know why I'm not done talking about it. Kenny Dorham on trumpet. Hey Mobley on tenor. Horace Silver on piano. Doug Watkins on bass. And Art Blakey on drums. So basically across the board, you've got a top, for me, favorite musician in every respective instrument. Dorham on trumpet, Mobley on, Silver, Watkins and Blakey. Right, for me, just among my top 5, basically on every instrument represented on this album. It is essential. I went forever and couldn't find one to save my life, and now one presents itself to me all the time. I've had several offered to me in the last few weeks, and it's like, man, I've got one now, but it's like, damn, it was so difficult then, and it seems to be so easy now. But that's the way it just is sometimes. But I'm happy that I have my forever copy, unless I can upgrade for condition. But this one's pretty damn clean, so we'll see. One never knows. Next up, I had a great year in 2020 for one of my all-time favorite. Altos is Jackie McLean, and I had a great freaking year for him. But this is going to be one of a few Jackie McLeans that you're going to see on the list. But it's an original mono pressing of Jackie McLean's Destination Out. Yeah, one of my very favorite Remodels covers. Grisham McCour on the third, Bobby Hutcherson, Larry Ridley, and Roy Haynes, and of course Jackie on alto. And guys, I gotta tell you, splat out once again. I mean, as you guys probably figured, when you see a top 20 of the year for your boy Chris at Tunes from the Man Cave, your boy Tunes, if you will, as I'm often called, you're bound to see plenty of Blue Note, and this is no exception. On a lot of years, this would be maybe my favorite find of the year, but on this particular year, it gets better. At least in my opinion, in terms of finds for the year. Man, I'm so thrilled to have that. Next up, another Jackie McLean once again. Charles Tolliver, Herbie Hancock, Cecil McBee, and Roy Haynes. It's original stereo pressing. It's time. Another one of my all-time favorite Miles covers. It's phenomenal. Original stereo once again, splat out. I freaking love the record. It's one of my favorite McLean records. Probably top 5 Jackie Mac if I had to like put a number on it. Yeah, freaking phenomenal record. McLean is just so often when I hear people talk about the greatest tenors or altos or whatever, an alto in this case, saxophone players just in general of all time, I so often hear the name Jackie McLean left out. For me, I go through my moods. I struggle to name 3 that I prefer to listen to in terms of this instrument. And this is a phenomenal album. It's not the last you're going to see of Jackie McLean either. Stay tuned. Talking about jazz, man. Next up, another one of the horns. I love the horns. And plenty of people love the trumpet. Gotta love Miles Davis. And this might be the cleanest record that I found all year in terms of what's in this stack, in terms of the originals, but it's relaxing with the Miles Davis Quintet. Prestige. Splat out. This is Bergenfield, New Jersey labels, so not the very first, not the NYC, but so the second. Mono. Clean. One of my favorite expressions that I bring up, as I often get reminded of from so many people, is so clean you can eat off of it. But don't do it. I freaking love it. Found it at Noble Records, of course. Matthews, North Carolina. You guys know about myself and my affiliation with Noble Records. If you ever have a chance to go there, Tonto, jump on it. If you ever have a chance to see this record and grab it, Tonto, jump on it. Just seriously, it's phenomenal. And every way, Miles on trumpet, John Coltrane on tenor, Red Garland on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Philly Joe Jones on drums. Did you guys hear who I just named off? Quite possibly the best lineup and assortment arrangement of musicians ever assembled or put together. For me, Miles' greatest gift was his eye for talent. Not that he wasn't a phenomenal trumpeter, not that he wasn't a phenomenal composer. But damn, that man knew how to get some talent together. He knew how to make them all play and sound and buy in as one. And just look how clean. Guys, that looks like that shit came out yesterday. It's like a 60-year-old record. I found that the same day as I did another one coming later in the stack. Stay tuned. Next up, Rashawn Moncour, the third, Evolution. This is about the fourth copy I've owned of this one. I've always upgraded for pressing. This is an original mono pressing. This is my forever copy unless I get one just in better condition that I can't ignore. It's Rashawn Moncour III, Lee Morgan, Jackie McLean, Bobby Hutcherson, Bob Crenshaw, and Anthony Williams. So immediately got like four of my favorite jazz musicians of all time on the same record. It's phenomenal. I might as well splat out. It's a phenomenal freaking record. It's some avant-garde type stuff, some free type stuff, some bop mixed in just to keep the purist happy. But for the most part, this one's a little bit more out there, but I highly recommend it for anybody who's wanting to expand their jazz mind just a little bit. As soon as I started expanding my jazz mind just a little bit is when I started getting into shit like this. So, I highly recommend it. If you see it, don't jump on it. Alright. Next up is one that I actually ended up moving back a couple spots, but that's not to take out of it. It's just when I really went through it and decided what records meant the most to me, and ended up dropping back a couple spots, but it's okay. Bass on Top, Paul Chambers Quartet. Guys, this is a holy shit record. This is a record that, if it's in your collection, original pressing, then it's fucking major league. You can't deny the significance. That's original mono, as you guys can see, spot out. See how clean it is. Kenny Burrell on guitar, Hank Jones on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Art Taylor on drums. It's a phenomenal jazz masterpiece. It's one that one must have in their collection. When I think of greatest bassists to ever live, and I always get in this debate, I see these chat groups come up on Facebook, and people are naming off all these rock and roll bassists, and yada, yada, yada. It's no disrespect to the rock and roll bassists, by the way. A lot of them would make my top 25, 30 list. But these jazz bassists, your Paul Chambers, your Doug Watkins, your Ron Carter, these guys, just for those of you who watch me who are preferably rock fans, who watch me just because for some reason you like my face and you like me to talk, I guess you like my southern drawl, I don't know. Look these guys up, listen to them do their fucking craft. These guys are geniuses. These are bassists. And that's not to take away from anybody else. Bass on Top, Paul Chambers Quartet. If you're a bassist, just listen to it and take notes. Gotta get it into your life. Next up, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here pretty soon. This is one that could have very easily landed in my top 3. It's New Soul, Jackie McLean. Again, Jackie Mac. Showing up big on my playlist this year. Showing up big on my top 20 list of the year, I should say. It's New Soul, Jackie Mack with Donald Byrd, Walter Davis Jr., Paul Chambers, and Pete LaRocca. You guys have heard a couple of these names already. Matter of fact, I just got through singing the praises of Paul Chambers, but Pete LaRocca on the sticks. Donald Byrd, top probably 3 trumpeter for me. And Walter Davis Jr. so underrated. His main one on Blue Note is one that still eludes my collection. Preferably an original pressing. I know it's going to cost me hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but I will get it. That's my new attitude. Is not that maybe I'll get it. Just give me some time, give me the right opportunity, I'll get it. But it's New Soul Jackie McLean, once again, original mono pressing. Splat out, super clean. Got it from my boy Tread Lightly 365 on Instagram. So happy he held it for me for like a few weeks to give me an opportunity to raise the money to pay for a tread. I don't think you watch my YouTube videos. I won't drop your, I know your Christian name obviously, but I won't drop it here. But if you ever do watch my YouTube videos, thank you, buddy. You're a good guy. You're a great friend of mine. You always look out for me on great records, and a lot of times you pitch me stuff that never. It's just thank you. I really appreciate you. Next up, we're getting down to my top 6. Sonny Rollins, Night of the Village Vanguard, Blue Note. 1581, obviously, on the number. I want to make a quick comment about this because I got a comment on a video like 8 or 9 videos back about my dusty sleeves, or whatever, my front cover sleeves. I have a preferred brand of sleeves, and it's the Sleeve City 5mm outer sleeves. COVID has made it very difficult to get them, and so for the last year, I want those sleeves. I just do. I don't want to buy some good sleeves now, then sub them out for them later. So you have a dusty sleeve like this one, which, hey, it'll get subbed for these Sleeve City 5.0s. This 5mm when it's a little bit easier. But I love those sleeves, guys. If you get an opportunity to get the Sleeve City 5mm, Tonto, jump on it. Don't waste any time. But Sonny Rollins, A Night at the Village Vanguard on Blue Note. It's a Blue Note release. This, it's essential. A lot of people throw around the term essential a little bit too lightly, but Sonny Rollins on tenor, Wilbur Ware on bass, Elvin Jones on the sticks, Donald Bailey on bass, and Pete LaRocca on the sticks. If you get an opportunity to get it, you got to get it. No matter what pressing, just get it. Just have the music, have the album. But a guy like me, I'm fortunate enough to where the very first copy I ever owned of this album was this original mono pressing. It was in 2020, baby. Wonderful stuff. Next up, one of the cleanest records in this stack, by far. It's another one that I got from my boy Tread Lightly, 365 on Instagram. Jackie McLean, Let Freedom Ring. Gorgeous, as you guys can see. It's an original stereo pressing. Look how clean that shit is. Super clean. It's Jackie Mack on alto, Walter Davis on piano, Herbie Lewis on bass, and Billy Higgins on the sticks. I'll show you guys the wax, obviously. Splat out, again, original stereo pressing. I love this album. It's one of my most played albums in this room, on this turntable, all year long. Now, holding it in front of you, I'm kind of wishing I'd moved it up a little further on my list, but it's okay. I'm showing it to you now. Whatever. I won't. No need to back out on it. But Let Freedom Ring. What a better, tagline or whatever for 2020. Something to marinate on. Next up, arguably the cleanest record in my stack, the Jazz Messengers. Jazz Messengers of the Cafe Bohemia, Volume 1. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. Again, got clean. Super clean. Art Blakey, Horace Silver, Hank Mobley, Kenny Dorham, and Doug Watkins, some of my favorite musicians of all time in any genre. Easy, hands down. It's original modern pressing. Splat out. Noble Records, the same day that I found the Miles Davis working from earlier in the stack. You guys probably saw my Black Friday, I think it was my Black Friday, RSD video. So for the most part, pretty recent find for me. But a guy had gone in the shop at Noble Records before me, grabbed this one, beat me to it, holding it, walking around. I kind of walked around for a little while with my Miles, thinking, okay, this guy's gonna put this down. He never did, and I got ready to leave. It'd been a while, and I was, I had stuff to do. My boy Josh, who was with me, had stuff to do, and I had kind of, went up to this guy, who I talked to, and was like, hey man, just to ask again, no pressure. Is there any chance you put that down? Is there any chance you don't walk out of here with this? He's like, nah, man, I'm pretty sure I'm buying this. I was like, okay. Went ahead and chalked up my L. Knew that I was still walking out of there with a great record in the Miles Davis. So I go out to the parking lot with my boy Josh. We do our video from the car like we like to do. And as I'm doing the video, literally, you guys can go back and watch the video. I might even link it in this description. I get a text message from Dylan saying, homie didn't buy it. So immediately I have to switch my game up. I'm like, oh hell, this just got interesting real fast. So go back in, sit the Miles back down, obviously, because then I got a bunch of comments in the video, why Blakey over Miles? Well, I mean, for starters, I really, honestly, truly do prefer Blakey over Miles, and they don't play the same instrument, but I prefer Blakey's record. Anyway, not a big deal. I got a bunch of those comments, but I hadn't seen anybody carry the Miles through the store in front of me. I had just watched this guy carry the Mobley, carry this Blakey through the store right in front of me. So for me, it's like, there's nothing stopping this guy from coming back. He lives closer to here than I do. I got to snag this now. So I took this home that day, went home, sold some shit, raised some money, came back the next day and grabbed the Miles. And for me, what it was is the guy at the time didn't know who he was dealing with. And I mean, in terms of myself and in terms of Dylan. And he had got up to the counter. He seemed in our conversations, me and himself, that he was willing to pay the price that was up here, which I won't discuss and can't remember, to be completely honest with you. But he had gotten up to the counter and tried to lowball him. Tried to hustle, like, hey, the other guy just left. Let's make a deal. And Dylan, total baller move, looks at him and goes, the other guy's still sitting in the parking lot, and I have his cell phone number. So he'll pay that. He's already said he'll pay that. So your call. And the guy left it. So that's why when Dylan texted me and I walked out mid-video, walked back in the store and grabbed this one. One of my funnest stories of 2020. I'll always remember this record and that story at the same time simultaneously. Next up, the turnaround. Hank Mobley, obviously. Original stereo pressing. I wanted this album for years. Finally got a chance to grab it this year in original stereo, which usually is not my intro copy, but Freddie Hubbard, Barry Harris, Paul Chambers, and Billy Higgins. Again, wonderful assortment and line of very talented musicians. I love the album. Thrilled to have it. Again, so much Blue Note. I don't know if I've shown you guys one. Nope, I have. Never mind. I was getting ready to say I don't know if I've shown you guys one that wasn't Blue Note or Prestige, but I realized that the Joe Henderson milestone copies. I love it. One of my favorite records of the year that I accumulated or acquired all year, I should say. Next up, Sonny Rollins Volume 1, Blue Note. I think made my top video last year, but last year it was for a second press. This year it's for a splat out Lexington Ave, very first press mono. Sonny Rollins Volume 1. Not much else needs to be said, guys. It's immortal. It's a true gotta have it type classic. If you see it. But it's Donald Byrd on trumpet, Sonny Rollins on tenor, Wynton Kelly, the great Wynton Kelly on the keys, Gene Ramey on bass, and Max Roach, the great Max Roach on the sticks. Guys, that's just, yeah, you gotta have it. Next up, I should probably preface this by saying that my number one for 2021 has probably already been signed, sealed, and delivered. I got it in the mail this past Saturday. I've already spun it. It's gorgeous. It's oh my god, sell some shit type record to acquire. I've already gotten it. I have a hard time believing I will top it for 2021. So it's mid to late March, and I've probably already found my number one for 2021. Stay tuned. You guys will see it pretty soon in a new finds video or whatever. I will not disclose at the time that that's my top for 2021, but don't be surprised. I'm going to have a hard time beating this fucking record for top 5. I'm just telling you. So, without further ado, my favorite record. Not necessarily my favorite record or my favorite listen of the group or anything, or the rarest of the group. It's just my one that I was just happiest to find for the year. And maybe it's because it was one of my very first big ones for the year, and the year was already sucking, and it was just, I found this one and it's like, maybe this isn't so bad. But it's rare as fuck too. It's Jackie McLean. Once again, I think it's like 4 or 5 Jackie Mac records for the stack for the year. Swing. Swang. Swinging. It is pristine. It is an original mono pressing. So clean you can eat off of it, as I always love to say. This Jackie McLean on alto, Walter Bishop Jr. on the piano, Jimmy Garrison on bass, and Art Taylor on the sticks. As you guys can see, once again, back clean as hell. Splat out. No splits, no seams, no problems on the cover. When this one was proposed to me, it's like, you know, you go through a amount of time. Guys, I was deemed an essential worker by the state and by our country. Even, you know, nothing changed about my day-to-day life. I worked as many hours as I ever did. I'm fortunate in that. Where I'm unfortunate is, of course, you know, is that when I was off, couldn't really go anywhere or do anything. But that's a mild complaint compared to so many people who lost their houses, lost their livelihood, lost their homes, maybe lost relationships, everything like that, lost their health, maybe, you know, and so many people that died through this, so you won't hear me complain. I'm not about to. My losses, you know, my 2020 doesn't compare to so many's. I kept a roof over my family's head, and we're still able to keep these records coming in, which, not one I wouldn't sell for a day of happiness for my family. But my number one, 2020, my favorite one I was, you know, most pleased to find. My top 5, Swing, Swing, Swinging, Jackie McLean on Blue Note, obviously. I love it. Been on my turntable a few times. Gonna be on my turntable hopefully for years to come, and then one of these days maybe my daughter can sell it and buy a car. But there you go, guys. It's my top 20 of 2020. My next video, I'm hoping to finally get on the vinyl tag 2021. Another one that I'm a few months behind on. No worries. I'm no longer, you know, like going to be strapped for time on them. You guys already know you don't see me as much as you used to, but it's okay. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I was fortunate enough to find some great stuff in 2020 despite everything going on. And 2021 is off to a pretty fucking good start. So until next time, until next video, hope you guys get yourself a grail to listen to this weekend, or just something you really enjoy. I don't care if it's out of the $1 bin, $2 bin. I don't care. And, you know, some good company and a nice, you know, a nice roof over your head. And hope all's going well. So until next time, until next video, keep dropping that needle, guys.